Hello one and all, welcome to Seen Through Glass, and welcome to a 675 LT Coupe. Seatbelts on. I have very amazingly been given the opportunity to drive this car by Perregaux Cars. They are based just outside Geneva in Switzerland, and they currently have this car for sale, but the owner very kindly agreed to let me take it for a bit of a drive to experience this car for the first time, because despite the fact that many UK YouTubers have owned 675 LTs over the years, and many journalists have experienced this car in one way or another, I haven't. So, power on. I'm really excited. I'm going to straight away turn the active panel on and go sport, because let's face it, the LT is all about driving experience, driving pleasure, and the way to experience these McLarens is with that active panel on, so you can switch it to manual gears and get the most out of the powertrain and the handling. Hopefully at some point we'll get the chance to switch up to track mode, which I imagine will sharpen everything up, but for now let's start in sport. It's going to be very careful of that. Lovely carbon fibre front splitter over the railway tracks, and we are away. So yes, as I mentioned, this car, it's been very well documented on YouTube, on the internet over the years. Three or 4 years old now, and there's been plenty of content on it. So it's probably not a new car, you're probably not learning anything new from this video, but the sort of main talking point I want to discuss is the fact that I think that this car could potentially be the bargain of the century right now. This particular car, but the LT in general. We're going to come back to it in 2 seconds, but for right now I'm just going to take in the settings, take in the scenery, and share my initial impressions of the LT, because the only experience I've had of one of these cars has been from the passenger seat of Shmee 150's Cerulean Blue Coupe. It was for about 15 minutes in Monaco, and that was it. So, what can I tell you? Well, initially, it's very recognisable as a McLaren. As I mentioned, only 3 or 4 years old now, and despite the fact that McLaren have released about 35 models since, all the sort of switch gear, all the type font, everything like that remains very identifiable as a McLaren. And like this, relatively smooth driving, it's not massively different to a 650S. I have driven a 650S Spider at the 570 GT launch. There you go. This is a great explanation of how many models McLaren make. So I do remember that experience quite well. And as I say, when you're not pushing on, it's as easy to use as any McLaren. It's one of their biggest selling points, the fact that you could really daily drive pretty much any McLaren. Well, even a P1. I was going to say perhaps not a P1, but I think even a P1, because I remember a while ago McLaren made a video on one of their green P1s that was being daily driven in Japan, and quite outrageously, Perregaux have a near identical spec MSO P1 for sale at their dealership. It's the wackiest green you've ever seen. But that's it. You could daily drive every McLaren, including a P1. Now I'm going to try and overtake this truck in front, which shouldn't be hard in an LT. Yep. Oh my god, this thing is a rocket ship. I mean, that was 30% throttle and 5,000 RPM. The red line is 8.5. And it is on rails. Now I'm not going to thrash this thing too hard, because as I mentioned, it is currently for sale, and the owner has very kindly given me the opportunity, but I don't think he was giving me the opportunity so that I could redline it through every gear and start drifting the thing. But it's just for me to get a taste for this car. And as I said, it is for sale, and it's for sale at the quite unbelievable price of around 230 or 240,000 pounds once you translate the price into pounds, because obviously here it's Swiss chuffs. Chuffs, I don't know if that's the official pronunciation, but I like to call them chuffs. I think it's francs, but it's more fun to say Swiss chuffs. So yes, this is my whole thing. Of all of the cars that McLaren make, this is surely the one to buy, because not only is it the most driver focused, okay, maybe apart from the 600 LT and the P1, but I think it's the most significant. It was the first road going sort of competition to the Speciale, a car that was heralded by journalists left, right and centre as being one of the greatest modern day supercars. The LT took its crown, knocked it off the top spot. If you look at the market now, Speciales in the UK are 350,000 pounds. Well, these, as I mentioned, 2 50, 100 grand difference for arguably a better car. This thing takes off at a terrifying rate of knots, but its biggest appeal to me is this, the way it turns into corners, because it is just dialed into the road. I mean, on track, I can only imagine what this thing must be like, but I actually almost prefer the idea of driving out here on the road. And that's funny, because Switzerland is not a place to drive cars like this. They really don't like speed or sound. So it's funny how many supercars you find knocking around on Swiss roads and having to be driven relatively smoothly and relaxed, because Swiss authorities really don't like it when you start going fast. So take it easy as we enter into this small little town. But yes, I think the market has got it wrong about these cars. It's at some point surely going to have to self-correct because of how great these things are. To think that you could pick this up for around £250,000, I think you can get really high mileage, crappy spec ones in the UK for under £200,000. But a nice example like this, 5,000 kilometres, chicane grey, carbon fibre everywhere. What more do you need? And you could say, oh well, yeah, but the 720S is so much better and it's a kind of a similar price now. Again, if you look at the used market, no, because the 720S is essentially so comfy, so usable, but so fast that it doesn't give me the same thrill, the same excitement. There's something about the LT that just gets my heart racing. Even now, and this is always the ultimate test for me, driving slowly, do you still get the sense of occasion? Does it still make you think, ooh, I want to go fast, I'm in something special? And there's just the smallest details on the exterior of this car, the smallest details on the interior, but also the actual driving sensations that make you know you are in something purposeful, something that wants to attack corners. And so I have to say, if you are considering purchasing a McLaren, forget your 570s, forget your 720s, and seriously look at an LT coupe. Yes, the Spider's great, and McLaren with their carbon fibre tubs managed to make convertible cars that really have the same performance as the coupes, but I think if you're talking about a car made for attacking tracks or mountain roads, you've got to go coupe. I mean, come on, it's really, you've got to, lightweight is where it's all at. This one with the carbon fibre roof, it all just comes together. I'm now desperately looking for the exit of this town, and there is the sign, so you can start to enjoy it again. I'm going to experience track in a very, very limited way, just because I think it has to be done. There's that turbo spool up as well. The thing is, McLaren, oh, refill fuel. Okay, back to sport. Low on fuel. Let's yeah, maybe track would be a mistake. But I feel like McLarens have had a bit of slack recently on social media. You know, some unreliability, some residual value issues. But I still, and I said this at the 600 LT launch, when you get these cars on a great road and when they're working, they are better than anything in their price bracket, any of their competition. They are still fantastic to drive, and whilst maybe they, you know, don't give you the same exhilaration that a Ferrari or a Lamborghini does as you pull up at the club, who cares? Because these cars are about driving, and this car particularly, I know I haven't been doing much driving, but this is a car for sale. It's not a press car or a personal car, so I'm trying to treat it with respect. Also because the man from the dealership sat right next to me, so I'm not going to take the piss too much. But it's just got a little something, people. It's got a little something, but maybe it comes as no surprise. Maybe I'm bang on the message that Shmi and James have been saying for many, many years, and if so, I apologise for repeating what they've been saying. But I think it's an important message that right now, there is an opportunity to pick up these cars at great value, and I think in 10, 15 years time, when maybe really good spec, low mileage LTs are approaching €500,000, we're all going to go, oh, why didn't we snap up the low ones? Why didn't we? It's the same with the Carrera GT, the same with the Ferrari F40. I'm not saying that this is one of those cars, but it's at least more special than I think people are treating it. To the right we go. So anyway, I'm going to sit back, relax, enjoy these fair few miles in this car, and then leave and tell everyone that they should go forth and try and buy one.